Jacob, it is me, IP, and if you are new to the tribe, like, share, subscribe. Got a little story here. I got it actually a couple days ago. The brothers were sharing it, and they were talking about, as you already heard and you saw the title, the livestock shortages. Right? That they have that, and it's a story with Goldman Sachs. They're talking about livestock and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of share that with you. But before we do that, as you guys already know, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get right off into it. It says right here, it says Goldman Sachs says the only other commodity looking as precarious as oil is livestock, right? And this came out like a couple days ago. Let's see here, and they got a couple of key points. I'm gonna give you the key points, and then we'll get into the meat of the argument. I think that pun was intended. Jeff Curry, head of commodities research of Goldman Sachs, believes the two big commodity stories looking ahead to 2021 and beyond will concern oil and livestock. You guys have heard about the oil dropping below zero for a while, and we are reaping the benefits at the gas pump right now. Confinement measures have been implemented in 187 countries or territories over recent weeks and months in an effort to try to slow the spread of the pandemic. And then the last point here, it has wreaked havoc in the food industry with farmers now facing a pronounced market imbalance. And we're going to get into that, guys, because it's pretty bad. So let's get into it a little bit. The head of commodities research at Goldman Sachs believes the two big commodity stories looking ahead for 2021 will and beyond will concern oil and livestock. The forecast comes at a time when the coronavirus pandemic has prompted many countries across the globe to effectively shut down. Okay, it has created an unprecedented demand, shocked in energy markets, and U.S. oil prices tumbling into negative territory for the first time ever last month. You guys remember that? Both major oil benchmarks have registered modest gains in recent weeks. However, Brent crude futures and U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures are still down for more than 50% of the start of 2020. Investors don't want to hear anything about oil. They have been beaten up. They are done with this space, and it is going to take a lot to get them to come back. So a lot of people are leaving this space because when it comes to the oil and the oil industry, right? From the limited research that I've done, it's not as easy as flipping a light switch. It is a whole production to get oil, cranking out and getting it refined and all this other stuff. So when it's shut down, it's a big deal. You can't just turn a switch on and it's back on and we're back to that. So it's kind of a big deal, costs a lot of money. It's the same as the miners, forgive the digression, but it's the same as the miners, when they're doing gold mines, silver mines, stuff like that. Shutting it down and turning it right back on is a huge deal and a huge undertaking. Okay, so I don't want to say you guys know what we're doing. The pandemic, the plague outbreak, has also wreaked havoc in the food industry, with farmers now facing a pronounced market imbalance. As a result, Curry said that he believes the only other commodity market looking as precarious as oil was livestock. He said they both share something in common. You do damage to the supply, it takes a while to bring it back online again. See what I mean? It is a huge, huge deal. When you shut that down, when you have some livestock ready, for slaughter and ready to go to the market and all that, and then the supply chain is messed up. I mean, the workers are not working in the factory to get it to do it, Then you have other younger livestock coming behind it. It's a whole mess. It's a whole big deal. He said, we had a problem with livestock going into this. We now have a very serious problem, Curry added. Food insecurity. Food insecurity. Confinement measures have been implemented in 187 countries or territories over recent weeks and months in an effort to try to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The restrictions, which vary but broadly include school closures, bans on public gatherings, and social distancing, have forced many restaurants to close their doors. And some of them will not be coming back, brothers and sisters. This collapse in demand from the hospitality industry has reportedly forced some U.S. farmers to let fresh fruit and vegetables perish, while dairy farmers have had to pour excess milk away. That's what we've seen. And I know there's some brothers out there who posted some pictures and stuff, looking at the meat prices, I should say, the meat prices in the grocery stores, and they are shooting up by 20, 30, and 50%. It's getting bad out there. Meanwhile, an uptick of COVID-19 cases in meat processing plants had led to some closures and a shutdown in production. As a result, there are growing concerns about whether the industry can meet demand for pork, beef, and chicken. At the same time, food banks have prepared massive shortages. Feeding America, the largest network of food banks in the U.S., has warned that the number of food insecure children in the world's largest economy could hit 18 million as a result of the pandemic. This is the highest. This is higher than the record 17.2 million recorded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture at the height of the recession in 2009, right? 2009. So, I mean, guys, we're going to start seeing it. That's why you have a lot of people, preppers and things like that. They're really starting to focus on their protein meat production. They're worried about how do we get some protein. So that's why you're going to get a lot of people. Chicken sales are going up. Goats, cows, things like that. Livestock sales for the individual, that is going up. That is a huge deal. And so people they're really trying to do something about it, right? They are really trying to do something about it, really trying to get a handle on the meat production, because it's gonna hit, right? It's gonna hit. It's slowly trickling in right now. It's slowly we're slowly starting to notice it right now, but it's gonna get really bad when you go there and you're gonna see $25, for a pound of ground beef. Oh yeah, people are gonna, you'll know then. We saw some pictures of some. I've seen some meat prices and it looked like a typo. Believe me, but won't get into that. The next heading says, "What do oil and meat have in common?" Let's take a look at what does oil and meat have in common. Analysts at Bank of America Securities said in a research note published late last month that livestock farmers in the U.S. meat industry were likely to suffer tremendous financial burdens as a result of the coronavirus crisis. Pork processors were expected to bear the brunt of plant closures, the analyst said, while beef processors would start to be in a better position. The analysts at Bank of America Securities stopped short of warning about the prospect of empty meat cases at the grocery store anytime soon, but they did stress those concerns could become greater if plants were unable to reopen. So we do hope plants reopen. President Donald Trump said via Twitter, and he always has something to say, on Saturday that the U.S. government would start to purchase $3 billion in agricultural products from American farmers over the coming days. So just to keep it all propped up, hey, we'll buy it all. I don't know what they're going to do, or buy $3 billion worth of it. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but we'll see. He referenced the USDA program Farmers to America's Food Box that aligns with the department's $19 billion relief plan announced last month. Goldman's Curry said herds had been tremendously reduced on both cattle and hogs in recent weeks. And what do oil and meat have in common? They are big inputs into inflation in the emerging markets, he continued. These are going to be two big commodity stories, I think, are going to be important as we look out into 2021 and beyond. So, guys, that's the story. They're talking about meat shortages. They're talking about that we're going to have some protein deficits here. We being Israelites, we don't really worry about the pork, but still, there's beef, there's chicken, and meat closures and things like that. Now, I will say this: it is starting to look like the old paths are the answer. Having your own goats, sheep, chicken, cows, it seems like that is the answer. And I know many of us are not ready. I mean, I'm not fully ready as well. There's a lot of little structural things that I have to do. I mean, obviously fencing and kennels and chicken runs and things like that. I got to get those. You got to have somewhere to put your animals and you have to be there to take care of them. And then, of course, you got to worry about, sickness. So you got to learn how to, take care of your animals so that they don't get sick. And if they do get sick, you need to know how to cure it. You need to know how to fix that. So there's a huge, steep learning curve to animal husbandry. but it is one that needs to be done. You know, we need to do that. We have to have that food production. But then if you don't have a whole lot of time with that, it's another thing that, you know, people need to look into, and that is having some fellowship and brethren, where a brother may be further along in another area where you are not, right? A brother may be further along or may have all kinds of livestock, right? And you may have something else that he may need. You know, you may have, you know, whatever. You may have vegetables or fruit trees or whatever the case may be, but you need to learn how to get this whole bartering network set up. It is high time to get into gear. But I would also suggest have a plan. Have a plan. Just running out and just, you know, doing things all willy-nilly, you're going to put yourself in a worse position, right? So we have all this downtime, we have all this lockdown time or whatever. Start making plans. Well, no, not start making plans. Start planning and executing. Planning and executing. Don't just willy-nilly just go, okay? Don't, you know, you got to, how do you, your food, your water, your waste, what about, you know, bugs and ticks and things like that? You know, you have a plan. Understand the challenges that are before you, and then have a plan for those challenges. I'm encouraging everyone. Am I a big proponent for come out of here, my people? You're absolutely right. 100%. I am for that. And I'm for it to do it in a hurry. Do it as fast as you possibly can. But have a plan. Have a plan. What are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do today? What are you gonna do this week? What are you gonna do next week? And start executing that plan. Keep going. Okay. There's certain challenges are coming down the pike. We're talking about various dominoes that are gonna happen. That meat shortages, that's gonna be a problem. So get your gardens together, plant you some fruit trees, you know, get your security together, build these structures that you need. It's so much stuff that needs to be done in so little time. Now, do I think everything's going to collapse tomorrow? I don't. Okay, let me see. Someone wanted me to turn up the volume there. So there we go. Is that better? Give me a 100 if you can hear me a little bit better. I just hit the volume on there. Give me a 100 if you can hear me better in the chat. But with that, guys, we gotta have a sense of urgency. We have got to move, keep it moving, keep it pushing. But you gotta have a plan, because there's so many people who are they're gonna have a fire lit under them, and then they're gonna go out somewhere and not have a plan and have no clue as how they're gonna take care of themselves. They have no clue. Okay, so let me just say hi. Let me jump in there and say hi to you guys before I let you guys go, because we got a few of you. Not a ton, just a few of you guys. Let me get in there real quick and say hello. Okay, shalom, shalom. Ronnie Rayner, how is it going? Chi Alpha, how are you doing? And Nicole, Skylar, Hawkins, how are you doing? And all the few others that are watching and didn't say anything, that's okay. But let me just encourage you, you know, the things that are happening. We see, you know what's happening so far because you're living with it. We're doing it right. We're dealing with it right now. But you know, there's some food shortages. Wild Williams, 454. How is it going? So we see what's going on. The food shortages. What are you going to do about it? I'm just giving you the information. What you do with it is completely on you. Appreciate you guys joining me. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Smash that notification bell. Israelite.